thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again, you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
I had to drink some agua, Miss Peaches. It is toasty out there.
I'm coming as fast as I can.
It's hot. My goodness. You know when you're like, the toast is too toasted, like it's black? That's how it is out there today. I need to take the butter knife before I put it in the butter and scrape the toast. It's hot out there, my goodness. Seems hotter than usual, but I'm sure it's not. Let's see what we got temperature-wise out there. Yeah, just 92, but it has to feel like over 100, huh? No, feels like 92. Humidity's only 60%. I don't get it. It's stifling out there right now. Hey, we're in September. That's a good thing, which means maybe 4 or 5 more weeks of this. You know, once we get to mid-October, we get 2 seasons in New Orleans, right? 6 months or so of summer and 6 months of not summer. Maybe in 4 or 5 weeks, we'll be out of the summer season and into the not summer. Anyway, lots of agua. Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. Miss Peaches, take a look at this Ozarka, Texas water because it's about the last time you're going to see it.
Okay.
I'm bringing in some Blue Plates owned by Riley Foods. They make, boy, now I'm forgetting the damn water name. Evermore.
Evermore.
You know, in that kind of strange shape.
I love that.
Which is a high pH. It's really a healthy water. Plus, it comes from a spring, you know, which means, I don't know if you know what stinks about bottled water now? Like you literally have to look on the label to see that it's spring water. Like, let's see. This one I think is. Yeah, natural spring water. Some of it's purified water. And I don't know what, I think some legislators, some water company pushed some legislator to change the law where they didn't have to put the source anymore. But I remember either DeSanti's a Coke product. I'm trying to think what the Pepsi one is. I forget, Pepsi has their water too. But on the source, it said Dallas Water Supply, like literally just taking it out the tap from Dallas Water, which, I mean, I'm just guessing, like, I think a few gallons of water would cost like a penny out the tap. Like a few gallons would cost a penny. So Coke's got just, you know, super scam going. You know, the Coke in the little, you know, you hit the little clicker. What do you call it? Not in the bottle, you know, the one in the machine where you push it and it mixes the syrup and the whatever. Fountain drink. Jeez, I'm Pete's. Getting old. Anyway, the fountain drink type one, I think they're like 8 cents or 11 cents. That's what it costs, like restaurants for the Coke, like 8 cents or 11 cents.
Right.
So that means it costs Coke like about 3 or 4 cents, I'm guessing, for the 16, 18, 20 ounce Coke. The water's like less than a penny, I would imagine, for the same amount, like less than a penny. Huge profit maker.
You know what Avion is spelled backwards, what it spells.
I've never thought of what's it spelled backwards.
Naive.
Naive?
Yes.
Wow.
True story.
All right. I don't think that's why they did it. Like you're naive to be buying it. I like Evian.
I don't know. I mean, we're buying water.
Yeah, I know. You used to be able to drink it out of the tap and it was nice and clean, but I can't tell you. I mean, I've had water out of like a water fountain. I get water out of like a machine from on a golf course and stuff like that. So I guess that's New Orleans tap water. But generally speaking, I don't drink New Orleans tap water.
We used to have the best tasting water in the country.
Yeah. I mean, because I think that it was like rated best tasting. Yeah, whatever that means. Probably just because of all the stuff we have to put in it to clean it.
Exactly.
I remember as a kid, you know, it was like when you go on a field trip type of thing or whatever. And we went to the Sewage and Water Board plant. And I remember one of those big old tanks, like there were catfish the size of you and me. Literally like 8 foot, 6 foot catfish, probably 100-pound catfish. Just I remember a school of them swimming that got, brought into the main tank. And then when it goes through like 4 or 5 big old pools before it, and they're treating it and whatever. But I remember seeing the catfish. I'm like, okay, that one's right out of the water, right out of the Mississippi. It was amazing. Just huge catfish in there. But yeah, we think about where we are and what's north of us. That algae bloom in the Gulf is because of all the fertilizer, all the nitrogen that flows out of all those Midwestern farms from rain and whatever goes into the river. So the river is just loaded with nitrogen, which is another reason we should do these diversion projects, because you flow all that nitrogen charged water into the marsh blooms and takes off like a rocket ship. But instead it goes into the Gulf and it forms this big algae. The algae grows with the nitrogen and it takes the oxygen out the water and kills all the fish. The fish avoid that area. It's a dead zone. So think about that. And that goes past us. So we're taking all that in. We got to get the nitrogen out of the water, all the fertilizer essentially out of the water. And then anything else that oil from car changes that happens to get into the Mississippi, whatever, urban runoff, whatever. I mean, there's just, I think we drain the Mississippi drains 42 states and a couple of Canadian provinces with these different rivers and streams and bayous. They're not bayous up there, but rivers and streams that connect into the Mississippi. So we're like at the end of that road, basically. We're the last, city before it hits the Gulf. So I don't know what they do at the Sewage and Water Board. I mean, it's drinkable. I'm not saying you can't drink it, but boy, the treatment process must be absolutely insane to get that drinkable, to get the Mississippi water drinkable, especially after, tens of millions, maybe north of 100 million people, all that stuff they're doing flowing into the river. Anyway, yes, I don't drink too much of the best tasting water in the world. I shower in it. I remember post-Katrina, they were like, don't shower in the water, don't drink the water. And then like a month later, like, you can shower in it. And I was like, nope. And then they were like, you can drink it. And then I was like, okay, I can shower in it now. Like I just was one level back. When they said you could drink it, I was like, I can shower in it now.
I can honestly say that's when I stopped drinking tap water. Because before Katrina, I was one of those people who would just get a cup, get something out of the tap and not think twice. Kids would drink water out of the hose as kids. We didn't die.
The hose pipe?
Outside. Why would you go inside?
Oh, no, exactly.
But after Katrina, I don't know what it was, but I stopped drinking tap water.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my grandparents someone must have said the water's not good, and they started getting, it was called Ozone was the bottled water. You remember Ozone? Yeah. And then Kentwood, I think, came after Ozone. And then Kentwood kind of just put Ozone out of business, I guess. Then you had Abita and all these different waters. But I think Kentwood still comes from the aquifer up north. And I know Evermore comes from their own aquifer on the North Shore. And it's got this special pH that's really healthy for you. So bye-bye, Ozarka from Texas. The last hello and goodbye. Yeah, I'm going to go with Evermore from now on from Riley Foods, a New Orleans product from the North Shore. Trying to keep it local. I used to get, what was that food that, it's a Texas-based dog food. What's the name? I forget. I stopped getting, I moved up to something more expensive, even better for the dog, but it had sweet potatoes from North Louisiana. So I was like, I'm getting that stuff. Anyway, this is where my mom got mad at me the other day, Miss Peaches. We're at lunch and she's like, just this disgusted look on her face. And my mom's never got a disgusted look on her face. I tuned in your program the other day. I'm just like, oh God, what did I say? And she's like, what were you talking about? And I think it was when I went off on that rainstorm that like I came out of my house and everything was dry. And then halfway down my street, there were puddles everywhere. And I thought like a water main broke. And it was like, no, just that line of demarcation was definitive. It was cut and dry. Like it was dry 1 foot and soaking wet the next foot instead of like, a drizzle. And my mom found that conversation absurdly ridiculous, boring, and stupid. and proceeded to rip me at lunch the other day. Said it was just terrible. And I was like, what? And I kept trying to get a smile out of her, and she was just disgusted the whole time. So if she's watching right now, she's like, I'm probably going to catch you. You did it again today. You did it. No one cares about the water or the dog food. It's like, wow. All right, Mom. Yeah, exactly. Tell me how you really feel, Mom. Oh, wow. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. When we come back, we'll actually start the program for real. Sorry, Mom. Oh, really? I thought it's... Oh.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse or it'll be only Angus beef, you get it at Rouse's. Taste
NolaAC.com is your spot.
Young's Dry Delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids, city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now, nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Come experience smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway. Smoothie King.
Game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style Scandia, perfect for any window, including large frames, sliding doors. 300 shutters are available in many colors. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
And more. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Tuesday afternoon. Hey, New Orleans. Hey, Baton Rouge. The 4 o'clock hour brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating this afternoon. Helm Paint and Decorating is now in the capital city. That's right, Baton Rouge. You get to experience the great Helm Paint and Decorating that we've been experiencing here in New Orleans for 55 years. New Orleanians that know go to Helm Paint and Decorating to knock out that paint project. We don't go to the big box store. Are you kidding me? We don't go to some national chain. There's 7 Helm Paint and Decorating locations in Metro New Orleans, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, like Hammond and Mandeville. Free 2-hour delivery anywhere in Metro New Orleans, bringing you those high-quality Benjamin Moore paints right to the project so you don't have to stop working. Baton Rouge, 4 area Helm Paint and Decorating locations, same Benjamin Moore high-quality paints, same free 2-hour delivery. Capital City, if you're on the West Bank of Baton Rouge, like, what is that, Bruley, Port Allen, free 2-hour delivery of those high-quality Benjamin Moore paints. They even go out to Prairieville. That's out in the east part of Baton Rouge. And even as far as Gonzales. That's like 20 miles from the Capitol, 20 miles from Tiger Stadium. Yeah, Gonzales. Helm Paint and Decorating in Baton Rouge has free 2-hour delivery of those high-quality Benjamin Moore products. Yeah, when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, and now when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating now in the capital city. Yeah, you right. Feels like a Monday with that extended Labor Day weekend, huh? But it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. And like I said earlier, toasty out there. And also, like I said earlier, we're in September now, so maybe 4 or 5 more weeks of this summer heat. We should experience some relief, like usually late September, there'll be some like pseudo cool front rolling in where we'll get some, bearable weather like in the 80s. But I think in the next few weeks, we'll be saying goodbye to the 90s for about 6 months. And by mid-October, it's just going to be absolutely fantastic weather. Hey, tomorrow on the program, Wide Open Wednesday, DA Jason Williams will be on the show. You don't want to miss that. DA Jason Williams tomorrow in the 4 o'clock hour. Boy, on Sunday, this is just a disturbing story. 8 people shot early Sunday morning. 6 of the 8 were women. 6 of the 8 were women. Just kind of mind-blowing. One of the women died. I don't get it. I don't get how folks own firearms and then shoot at people when they get into arguments. Just kind of mind-blowing to me. I don't know. There's just no thought of your actions and repercussions and how your life is now. It's going to dramatically change. You know those DWI commercials? Your life's going to dramatically change. Don't drink and drive. It's true. And that's a terrible thing, especially if you hurt somebody. But just getting a DWI and you hurt no one but yourself, it is a life changer. Pulling out a firearm and just shooting at someone, absolutely crazy. And, shooting a gun under like calm conditions. When I go to the driving range to hit golf balls, I hit the ball really well. Every time I go to the driving range, I get on the course and the shots count for real. I don't hit them all as well as I do on the driving range when nothing matters. When I go to the North Shore and shoot my Glock 17 at the range, I'm pretty good with it. Hitting the metal targets, knocking them down, hitting the paper targets, putting my little X marks on them, going back, shooting again, seeing what I've done. Now, I'm pretty good. I'm not going to say I'm like a marksman or the people that really are good are really good. The marksmen are like scratch golfers. I shoot like I play golf. I'm probably like a 10-12 handicap with the gun. There are a lot of people that are a hell of a lot better than me, but I'm probably better than maybe a lot of folks that own guns because they go to the store, they buy the gun, they can load it and shoot it, and they have no idea what they're doing. And then you get these kind of young criminals and shooting the gun sideways and all this crap. I mean, spraying bullets everywhere, hitting everything but the target they want to hit. So it's kind of like the meathead in the truck with like, this truck's protected by Smith & Wesson. Like they're almost wishing someone would come after them so they could shoot them. And it's like under duress, you're not going to shoot nearly as well. So you get these young thugs and the gun sideways and they get into some verbal altercation. So they're fuming, they're ticked off, they're pissed, and they just start firing sideways. I mean, just almost impossible to hit the desired target. No, it's unbelievable, the ignorance and stupidity and just, I mean, with the criminal and with the dopey gun owner, the gun zealot that's like hoping they get into an altercation so they can test their skills. Law enforcement doesn't want to shoot anyone, and military people don't want to go to war and shoot anyone. These are professionals. We get a bunch of basically children, immature, idiots, emotionally limited. Repercussions are irrelevant. 8 people shot, 6 are women. I'll never understand that. I'll never understand how a gun is treated so casually by so many people. I don't, a circular saw, like a table saw, I don't really want to work one of those. I don't want to lose a finger or something. It's like, Corey, you just got to be careful. I hear you. I'll leave it to the expert that uses that. Or if I was really interested in like wood building or something like that, furniture making, I would get with someone that's an expert with the circular saw and learn how to use it properly, not buy it and figure it out on my own. But these gun owners, or I shouldn't say gun owners, these criminals that have access to guns legally or not, no training, nothing. Just somebody, here's how you load it, and you pull the trigger, and like that's it. Plug in the saw, the blade spins, run your board through there, and cut it. It's a little more than that. So I just will never ever figure out that gun mentality. I'm not anti-Second Amendment. I own a gun. It's just I just don't get the casual attitude people have, criminals and non-criminals. My truck's protected by Smith & Wesson. And then, boy, on video, social media, just idiots pulling out guns and shooting people. It's tragic. It's unbelievable. You ever get on a plane and a baby is crying? I was on a flight and this baby is crying for like 15 minutes. And the parents seem to be oblivious to it. Like, sure, the baby's crying. It's a baby. That's what babies do. No effort to quiet down the baby. And then I'm like getting a little irritated. It's loud. It's obnoxious. There's no way I can sleep or anything. And I'm looking around at other people on the plane. They seem sort of unfazed by the baby crying. Like they've sort of accepted it. Look, I mean, sometimes you can't quiet down a baby. I get it. But my God, on a plane, just a baby crying relentlessly? Apparently, 2 strangers, the grandparents had the baby. It was crying for like 30 minutes. These strangers said, we'll quiet the baby down. They took the baby in the bathroom, one of the bathrooms, and sat in there with the baby and quieted it down. The story is toddler, the headline is toddler crying on flight. 2 strangers lock baby in bathroom. It makes you think they like stuck the baby on the floor and shut the door and went back to their seat and went to sleep. But still, though, very strange the grandparents would allow strangers to take a human being that's theirs, that's their kid's baby, and go into a bathroom with the little baby and try to quiet it down. I mean, I don't know. I'm not handing my dog over to a stranger, much less a human being. Anyway, strange story. Hey, Putin is in Mongolia right now, has left Russia. Mongolia is like due south of Russia. I think it's in between Russia and China, if I'm not mistaken. And I want to say Kazakhstan, a U.S. ally, is right next to Mongolia. I don't know if the U.S. is thinking this or not. I mean, there is an international warrant, international arrest warrant out for Vladimir Putin. Why doesn't the U.S. get some like strike team, under like UN authority to go into Mongolia and kidnap Putin and arrest him? The war, the Ukraine-Russian war would be over in a month. I mean, who is the number 2 person to Putin in Russia? And would that person automatically assume Putin's stances on things, or maybe would be a moderate and go in another direction? I really haven't heard of Putin traveling too much, except to friendly countries like, say, China or North Korea or something like that. And Mongolia is right next door to Russia, and I'm sure Mongolia more of a ally to Russia than the United States. But I don't want to say a neutral country, but Kazakhstan right next door, a U.S. ally. I think an opportune time to go into Mongolia with some SEAL team or special ops, Rangers, something, and not kill Putin. It's not it's some kind of a assassination thing like Osama bin Laden, but go in and capture Vladimir Putin and arrest him under like UN sanctions, international law. And the war in Ukraine would end in a month. Corey Johnson with you on a toasty Tuesday. Still hot as hell out there. Thanks so much for joining us. Good time to go get a smoothie at Smoothie King. I go to Smoothie King on Jefferson Highway across from Ochsner. Jay and his dad have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades and decades. They also have the old Metairie Smoothie King on Airline and
Ladies and
Causeway by
gentlemen, in this
Lamar.
Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still to the last. From the fine restaurants to your local po' boy shop for over 125 years, New Orleans.
1970 was an exciting time. He hosted his first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened. Mood rings and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s. Helm for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision engineering prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
That was a painful LSU loss the other night, wasn't it? Thank goodness HBO had Soprano reruns on. Literally, when the running back for USC ran into the end zone, I went right to Sopranos. Normally, I would watch post-game. What's Brian Kelly going to say, all that? I wanted to have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Brian Kelly pounding the podium and yelling and Nussmeier's quarterback had a great game, and he's going to say the USC quarterback outplayed his quarterback. Why would you dog your own QB? Now he's like backtracking today saying, I'm not saying he outplayed my QB. I'm just saying USC won. Then say that. And as far as pounding the table, coach, do that stuff during the ball game. Boy, Lacey's unstoppable in the first half and MIA in the second. I don't get it. Late in the ball game, you've got the lead 3 and out. Not believable. USC is a really good team. LSU is a better football team than USC. And LSU got outcoached. Brian Kelly got outcoached in that game. And that's where the blame is. First time I'm mad at the team, all that. Be mad at yourself, coach. Seriously. Be mad at yourself. It's all on you. It's not on the team. The defense, much better than last year. The defense is actually viable. I'm not going to say they're LSU Tiger dominant like they've been in the past, but they're viable. The offense is very, very good. Was slightly disappointed in the offensive line. Supposed to be one of the best offensive lines in football. You've got a left tackle and a right tackle that are going to be first-round draft choices, and there wasn't really domination by the LSU offensive line like I think a lot of folks, myself included, were expecting. Now, when I say domination, I don't mean like LSU playing McNeese or something, but LSU should have been able to handle the defensive line of USC, and I don't know if they handled them. So the O-line supposed to be dominant. They weren't. The defense much improved. Nussmeier's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. He's smart. He sees the field. He's a winner. You've got talent at wide receiver. You've got talent at running back. Not too worried about the offense. And the defense is improved. With all of that said, I think the pretty much entirety of the blame should be on Brian Kelly. And pounding the podium and mad at his team and kind of dissing his quarterback. I don't know. I think Brian Kelly needs to look in the mirror. I think this is all on Brian Kelly, period, end of story. The good thing is LSU does have a very good offense, and the defense is improved. They have a ridiculously tough schedule, but everything's in front of them. So LSU controls their own destiny. I still think they're going to have a pretty successful season, but Brian Kelly needs to do a better job of getting his team prepared. What is this, 5 straight opening season losses? It used to be the opposite for LSU. They owned these season openers against powerful opponents at neutral site. You want to know the last coach to lose 5 in a row? And Brian Kelly's only lost 3 in a row, but Ed Ogeron lost his 2 openers to end his that horrible last 2 years of the Coach O era. 5 opening season losses in a row. You got to go back to Curly Hallman. like early 90s. When I was at LSU, when I was graduating from LSU, Curly Hallman era, first 5 years, 5 opening season losses. Not good, LSU. Not good, Brian Kelly. Quit pointing the finger at your team. Quit pointing your finger at your quarterback. Go look in the mirror. Point the finger at yourself. You're the one dropping the ball right now. How about the Tulane Green Wave? This week, taking the spotlight fully away from LSU. Louisiana, New Orleans team this week is the Tulane Green Wave. 11 a.m. kickoff from Uptown at Yeoman. They're taking on Kansas State, nationally ranked K-State. Tulane upset them last year, so K-State's got a little revenge in mind. It's Uptown. It's at 11 a.m. this Saturday morning, and it's on ESPN, nationwide television audience. Yeah, you right, Green Wave. John Sumrall getting introduced to the country as the Tulane head football coach. This is a big ball game. The following week, nationally ranked Oklahoma in Oklahoma. So 2 big ball games against top 20 teams. K-State at home, and then the Green Wave on the road at Oklahoma. If the Green Wave can come out of these 2 games 1-1, they are set. They are set. 0-2 would be a little disappointing. You're really hoping the Wave can take one of these ball games. They can hang with just about any team in the country. It's not like before where they just get physically manhandled. So hopefully John Sumrall gets the Wave rolling over the next 2 weeks. I loved John Sumrall. Compared to Brian Kelly postgame, John Sumrall's postgame was fantastic. They blanked Southeastern 52-0. And right off the bat, first thing John Sumrall says is, you're kind of disappointed. You know, we had a lot of mistakes out there. We got a lot of stuff to clean up. 52-0 over Southeastern. But he knows it's like a preseason game. Tulane's supposed to beat Southeastern like 52-0. But instead of, praising his team and a great win, and we ran up some points and we were successful on offense, we did a good job on defense, none of that. Boy, lots of mistakes. Can't do that against real opponents. Can't do that against K-State and Oklahoma. We've got a lot to clean up. I loved it. I was like, man, talk about diametrically opposed press conferences post-game. Brian Kelly pointing the finger at his team, disappointed in his team, saying the other quarterback outplayed his QB when his QB had a fantastic game. One of the best quarterback performances in all of college football. Nussmeier for the Tigers. And Brian Kelly's ripping on him, and John Sumrall disappointed. Lot to clean up in a 52-0 victory. Just totally different mindsets. Now, I love what John Sumrall said. Hey, coming up in the 5 o'clock power hour, Brett Martell will join us from the Associated Press. Another Martell Monday. I'm not a sports talk host anymore. That stopped about 17 years ago. It was my bread and butter. First got started in this biz in Baton Rouge back in the early 90s. It was sports talk. And basically did that right up until around 05. And since 05, for nearly 20 years now, it's been not sports talk, news, politics, whatever. But I still have a love of sports. That's why every Monday I get Brett Martell on for about 10, 12 minutes, a Martell Monday. And every Fridays with Fletcher Mackel from WDSU Channel 6 Sports joins us. I love sports. I love the Saints. I love Tulane. I love LSU. I love the Pels. I love the local teams. And I just love sports because there's no, pretty much there's no discrimination. The best man or woman wins. The best man or woman wins. I saw something today. 15 of the 32 NFL starting quarterbacks are black. 15 of 32. Do you think it's some kind of like affirmative action, or do you think these are the best players available? That's what I love about sports, the best available play. Now, in the past, you had coaches that would say dopey stuff like the black player may not have the wherewithal or the smarts to play quarterback, and they'd move a black player who clearly could play the quarterback position to another spot on the field. I think today there's an inclination with black and white coaches to move a white player from, say, cornerback that's fast and quick and totally can play the position, but because he's white, it's assumed he's not quick enough or fast enough and can't play the cornerback position. That's all I can imagine it is. I think a lot of folks secretly want to be like, well, black folks could always play the quarterback position, but white folks aren't fast or quick enough to play cornerback? Who's the best running back in the NFL? It used to be all black running backs. You could argue Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in football. They're white wide receivers. I think running back, wide receiver, cornerback, coaches, black and white, assume white players don't have the ability, the speed, the quickness, the athletic skill to play those positions. And I think that is absolutely ridiculous. So I think there is still sort of a discrimination in sports in a weird kind of way because it's white coaches too. It's white coaches too. I don't think there were many black coaches going, yeah, I don't think the black kid has the wherewithal or smarts to play quarterback. The opposite. I think they were disappointed in the white coaches in authority that didn't give the black kid a chance. But today, I think you have black and white coaches that, a white athlete plays fullback or he plays linebacker or he plays tight end. It's just not one white cornerback in the National Football League. There's not one white starting cornerback in the National Football League, and there hasn't been for years and years and years. And I think that has something to do with this sort of indirect inclination by black and white coaches that white players aren't quick enough, fast enough, athletic enough to play the cornerback, wide receiver, running back position, which I think is absurd. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480, 766-9480. Love to hear from you on this very hot, muggy Tuesday afternoon. Corey Johnson with you till 6 p.m.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you. It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Sin City and beyond, Corey Johnson back at. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. Hey, I think I've got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa certificate or 2 to give away. Oh, yeah. This was a good one, Miss Peaches. Name the streets, roads that run from the river to the lake. We got the easy ones. What, did we? We got, no, we didn't get there's one that's still available. The one that is farthest west, that's not really a road or a street. It's more of like a highway or interstate type of thing. Runs from the river and runs from the lake beyond the river. It's kind of like Causeway, runs from the river beyond the lake to the North Shore. Similar to that. No, we got Clearview. We got Canal Street, Canal Boulevard combo. We got Elysian Fields. We got Williams Boulevard and Kennebra. We got Causeway. We got Franklin. We got France Road that run from the river to the lake. But there is one on the western edge of the city that runs from the lake through the river, south of the river, like the opposite of the Causeway, which runs from the river north of the lake, if that makes any sense. And then I got a really interesting one for you. We're sticking with the geography angle, Miss Peaches. You ready for this one? If Alabama is 2 states to the east of us, which state is 2 states west of Louisiana? And how about which state is 2 states north of Louisiana? If Alabama is 2 states east of Louisiana, which state is 2 states west of Louisiana? Which state is 2 states north of Louisiana? Give me the answer to any of those questions. The last remaining road or highway that goes from the lake to the river, and these geography questions. If Alabama is 2 states to the east of Louisiana, which state is 2 states north of Louisiana? Which state is 2 states west of Louisiana? Give me the answer to any of those questions. I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations, 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore, 1 in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. GQ on the North Shore always. Wow, nailing it. Nailed it. GQ on the North Shore, nailing it. GQ and Covington got both answers right. Also, Miss Peaches sending me a photo of his Komodo Joe smoking. Rouse's Lump back at work. That's what it says. Rouse's Lump back at work. Yesterday, Miss Peaches, I was at the Rouse's on Ferret and Valence in between Jefferson and Napoleon, picking up that Rouse's labeled the Rouse's brand extra virgin olive oil from Italy. They've got about 4 or 5 different levels of this. It's amazing. And when you compare to, I love olive oil like most of us do. Cola Vita, all these high-end brands that I've been buying for years. The Rouse's labeled, the Rouse's branded stuff is like half the price. It's like half the price for the same quality or better. The one I bought yesterday was this certified Sicilian olive oil, not from Italy, but off of Italy, the islands, Sicily, which is part of Italy, but not on the mainland of Italy, south, out in the ocean, out in the Mediterranean. And there's been these scams that you probably heard about, Miss Peaches, in the last 10 years. 60 Minutes did a story on it. The watered down olive oil, the mob getting involved in the olive oil business. It's not authentic. It's got different oils mixed in. They had taste testing experts say they could taste it and go not pure. And then scientifically, they're breaking it down going, yeah, it's canola mixed in or, something lesser mixed in. It's not pure virgin olive oil. So that was a big scam. That the olive oil industry took a hit. That's when California's olive oil market took off like a rocket. But no, this is all certified, authenticated, the real stuff. Rouse's must have, I'm telling you, I counted about 5 different extra virgin olive oils at different price points that compared to the, labeled stuff. So the Rouse's brand stuff's fantastic. GQ loves their lump charcoal. I did a little investigating for you ceramic grill owners. Primo, Komodo Joe, Big Green Egg. You use lump charcoal. Lump charcoal, everywhere I've looked, is like at least $1.50 a pound. Some of it's like $2 a pound or more. The Rouse's labeled lump charcoal is under $1 a pound. Is under $1 a pound. Everything else is north of $1 a pound, some north of $2 a pound. And GQ swears by it. Says it lights quick, it stays hot long. He says it's as good a quality lump as anything else out there at about half the price. At about half the price. Why would you get some name brand lump charcoal or some name brand extra virgin olive oil? Do yourself a favor. Do the Pepsi challenge like I did. Whatever product you like that you're sold on, see if Rouse's has a Rouse's labeled item of pretty much the same thing. Sometimes you're like, my God, the packaging's the same. I can look at it and see it's the same. And then you taste, you're like, that Rouse's must have contracted that company to make the Rouse's labeled stuff, and it's like half the price. Check into that. Save money. Keep the high quality stuff. I don't like generic brands. I don't like inferior stuff. The Rouse's labeled stuff, the Rouse's brand stuff, nothing inferior about it. The opposite. Not good, not very good. Excellent. Excellent. Check it out. Rouse's Markets tastes like home. What's that, Blue Boy? 4 o'clock hour flew by. 5 o'clock powwow's next. You're right, buddy. Stick around, New Orleans. A lot more coming your way. Corey Johnson with you. On a pretty hot and humid Tuesday afternoon, we do have a lot more coming your way. The entire 5 o'clock powwow is next. On radio, on television, on YouTube. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe.
On the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM. WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of located in Interlock. The company changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. Manufacturing facilities around the world, Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Market. Tastes like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. My dad would be proud of today's home paint and decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated, Leidenheimer French bread.
Dooby-dooby-doo, where are you? We got some work to do now.
The 5 o'clock power hour is now. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon that feels like a Monday afternoon. That extended Labor Day weekend kind of messed up my clock. This is a very Monday feeling day, but what's good, it's Tuesday, closer to the weekend. Tomorrow is already Wednesday. Speaking of wide open Wednesday, New Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams will join us on the show in the 4 o'clock hour tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. Jason's been catching a little crap lately. I think it's Ma in his office, one of the assistant DAs, just sort of has a mentality of criminal first, citizen second. Very, very woke, very, very liberal, more concerned about people in jail than citizens. Now, a lot of folks just make this a black and white issue, and I'm not talking race or color. Just cut and dried, like people that are criminals, they need to stay in jail. Protect the citizens. In Louisiana, we do have an insane amount of people incarcerated, and we're not the most dangerous place on planet Earth. I'm not saying we're the safest, but to have per capita sometimes more people incarcerated in Louisiana, percentage of population than North Korea, China, places like that. It's usually Louisiana and Oklahoma battling it out for the number one state of per capita percentage of the population in jail. No, it's insane. So we do have a problem, and we do need to release certain people from jail, especially these mild offenders, especially folks that are incarcerated for something that today isn't illegal. But some of these folks that are being released, granted, they've been in jail for decades, but they murdered someone. Was the family, the victim's family, were they ever, brought in and, hey, let's discuss this with you. This guy's been in jail 40 years. We're thinking of letting him go. We know your loved one was murdered, but just looking at the facts of the trial, maybe there were some unfair things going on, or it wasn't, a proper trial, or evidence that shouldn't have been put in was, or the evidence is proven to be not real, whatever. I mean, there's a balance. But right now, Jason Williams' office has been catching a lot of flack for maybe not having that balance. We'll discuss it with him tomorrow, and we'll see what he has to say. One thing I respect about Jason Williams is, besides his intelligence and common sense and street smarts and savvy, I don't think when he ran for DA and was saying, I'm not going to prosecute kids as adults, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do... He changed. He got into office, became the district attorney. He's no longer like a council person. He's the DA, the head lawyer, law enforcement guy in the city. And I think he realized, my God, like the Linda Fricky case, these two girls and this boy, underage, not adults, carjack this vehicle and kill Linda Fricky. They need to be tried as an adult. That the crime they committed was heinous. They need to be tried as an adult. And then I think what really even, pressed the issue more for Jason Williams, when he and his mother were carjacked at gunpoint. So I think Jason Williams is smart. I think Jason Williams does have street smarts. I think he's got common sense. And I think he realized what he ran on, once he got in office, that wasn't the way it should be. And I'm not trying to cut Jason Williams any slack. Tune in tomorrow. I will ask the tough questions like I always do and always will. But considering Jason Williams is a black liberal Democrat in this city, I don't think he said these things to get elected and then knew he was going to change them. I think he said these things because he believed in them, got elected, and changed. And it's sort of brave or courageous in one way as far as his electability in the future. There are a lot of black folks in the inner city community that I kind of associate as extreme, this small group kind of hooked up with those acronym groups like Bold, Life, Sold, Coup, us against them, black against white, just that divisive nature of politics that Bill Jefferson just, lived on his whole career. Jason Williams has alienated that group of black New Orleanians. Those black New Orleanians, in their minds, don't trust Jason Williams. He changed. He said these things to get my vote, and now he got in office and is doing the exact opposite. I don't think Jason Williams was a sellout. I don't think he said those things to get elected like a Bill Jefferson, and Bill Jefferson never changed. Bill Jefferson didn't do anything, was pretty worthless. But Jason Williams, I think, honestly figured it out and was like, what I ran on, and now that I'm in office, it's different, and I have to change. I have to go in this direction. But I say it's a little brave and courageous as far as his electability, because he knew by doing this, he was going to alienate a certain percentage of the New Orleans black population, which he did. And they're not going to vote for him. They're not going to vote for him next time. And I guarantee you, there'll be a popular black opponent to Jason Williams that will embrace this loony left, woke type of mentality, criminal first, citizen second mentality. So I think I give Jason Williams credit for that. He could have sold out and kept doing what he's doing. Forget about lowering the crime rate. Forget about integrity, honor, and morals, and just appeased and placated this silly small percentage of extreme black folks that love the Bill Jefferson, us versus them, black versus white. Just forget about crime, criminal first, citizen second. So I give him credit for that. I give him credit. But also, we're going to talk about, everything, including maybe this assistant DA who's a white woman, by the way. She's not black, but just very liberal, very woke, this Ma woman. If you remember at Mardi Gras, all those gun arrests the next day. Hey, if we take the gun, you can go free. Just crazy. We'll talk to him about all that tomorrow. Jason Williams in the 4 o'clock hour, New Orleans DA. Hey, by the way, my Twitter, at Corey Johnson, or you can email us, Corey at CoreyTalks.com, Kaare, Corey at Corey Talks. Any questions, comments you want me to ask Jason Williams? Fire in. Send me an email. I'll ask him your question. Kaare, Corey at CoreyTalks.com. Have you ever been on a plane and a baby is crying? What's your attitude on that? Now, I don't have any kids, but my brothers and sisters have kids, so I'm an uncle to about, eight kids. Well, they're adults now. One of them's getting married soon. A couple of them already been married. So I'm not clueless and immune, and I have empathy. Baby wouldn't shut up, and it was loud as hell. Emergency door at 40,000 feet and threw the baby out the plane. There was an ocean underneath. I'm sure the baby landed safely. Good night, everyone. No, I'm just sitting there, and the baby wouldn't stop crying. And the stewardesses or steward, whatever, male, female, unaffected. I'm looking around at other people in the plane, pretty much unaffected. The worst part, the mom and dad just did not seem to give a crap. Weren't even trying to quiet the baby down. I was kind of blown away. The plane was packed. There was nowhere else I could go. Baby just crying for 30, 40 minutes straight, and the parents doing nothing to stop it. I was just like, wow. And it was sort of just accepted. On a flight, a toddler on a flight And the misleading. The headline is toddler crying on flight, 2 strangers lock baby in bathroom. Actually, the grandparents, the mother and grandfather, they couldn't quiet the baby down. 2 other people on the plane, 2 women said, let us take the baby. We'll go inside the little restroom area and we'll quiet the baby down. We'll take the baby out of the main part of the plane and go into the bathroom and shut the door. That'll lower the volume level of the baby crying and we'll get the baby to be quiet. We'll calm the baby down. Now, me, I wouldn't give my dog to strangers on a plane.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is commerce, the economic engine. 25 years. Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City keeps you cool. River City total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than way in River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxford, on Airline Highway at LaBarre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated. You find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know? More of the good things.
Get Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
I'm a big Smoothie King consumer. because I'm trying to get some protein into my system, and I'm just looking for a, what would you call that, Miss Peaches? A device to put the system in? What do you call that? Like if I want sugar, I'm eating M&Ms. M&Ms are just the, thing that gives me the sugar. Yeah. So the Smoothie King's just flavorful, and it's you can get this protein powder into your system without, powder, drinking something that tastes good. And you don't even know. I don't think all Smoothie Kings are the same. I go to two specific ones, and there are several others that are pretty close to my house, but I'm partial to Jay and his father that own the Smoothie King across from Ochsner Hospital on Jefferson Highway, and the old Mary Smoothie King right by that Rouse's, Airline by LaBar, Airline by Causeway. Go experience the difference. And yeah, Smoothie King's great if you're on a diet, if you want to gain weight, if you're looking to build muscle, meal supplement, a snack, any of the above. Immune builder, muscle builder, all kind of great additives to your smoothie, all different sizes. Jay and his dad at Smoothie King across from Ochsner and by Old Metairie, they've been at it for decades and decades. Experience the difference. Smoothie King, Jefferson Highway across from Ochsner. Smoothie King, Airline Highway at LaBar. Airline Highway at Causeway, right by the Rouse's. Tuesday afternoon edition of the program. Feels like a Monday with that extended Labor Day weekend. Pretty hot out there. Be careful. Lots of agua. Stay hydrated. We're in September. Kaboom goes the dynamite. Maybe 4 or 5 more weeks of this summer season, and then we'll be in October. By mid-October, we got about 6 months of non-summer. So looking forward to this summer being in the rearview mirror, huh? Light at the end of the tunnel, maybe 4 or 5 weeks left. And before the 4 or 5 weeks come, where we won't see, 90s for 6 months, we'll probably get a cool front or something, or a cool-ish front or two in before 4 or 5 weeks, maybe later this month. So that'll be something to look forward to. Football's always a sure sign of fall coming in these parts. Tomorrow in the 4 o'clock hour, DA Jason Williams will join us. Vladimir Putin is in neighboring Mongolia. I think that is in between Russia and China. And if my geography is correct, I think Kazakhstan is a next door neighbor to Mongolia. Kazakhstan is a U.S. ally. There is an international arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin for the war in Ukraine, all the atrocities. I mean, they hit an apartment building and killed like 20, 30 people last night. I'd love to see the U.S. under like the guise of the UN send in some SEAL team or something into Mongolia to capture and arrest Vladimir Putin. I don't think the number 2 person in Russia would just pick up the baton and run with Putin's, agenda. I think the war in Ukraine would end in a month if the U.S. could somehow get into Mongolia and arrest Putin. That would be absolutely incredible. But I don't even know if that's a thought or an inkling of the United States to even do something like that. But he is a war criminal. He has an international arrest warrant out for him, and it would end the war immediately. What a nightmare Putin is. What a nightmare Hamas is. This Israeli-Hamas thing just goes on and on. Hostages being killed. This stuff gets overwhelming and depressing. Corey Johnson with you. Tuesday afternoon edition of the program. Love to hear from you. I was asking last week a trivia question, which roads or highways go directly from the river to the lake or the lake to the river? And we pretty much got every answer. France Road, Franklin Avenue, Elysian Fields, Canal Boulevard, Canal Street, Causeway, Clearview, Williams Boulevard. I think there's one left. It is on the western edge of the city, and it's not a street or road. It's more of a highway that not only connects the lake to the river, but goes over the river, beyond the river. Sort of like Causeway in the opposite direction. Causeway starts at the river, but goes beyond the lake to the North Shore. Give me the answer to that highway that goes from the lake really over the river and beyond. Give me the answer to that, and I got 50 big bucks for you. Yeah, we got Chris and Metairie answered France Road. Scott and Metairie got Clearview. Cindy and Metairie got Canal Boulevard, Canal Street. Monique in Chalmette got Elysian Fields. Tom and Metairie got Williams. Steve in Metairie got Franklin Avenue. Stan and Kenner got Causeway. This is on the western edge of the city, more of a highway than a road. Connects the lake to the river and beyond. Give me the answer to that. I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Rouse's Market's phone lines to participate in the program. 504-766-9480. Rouse's Market's phone lines. 766-9480. I got another trivia question for you. If Alabama is 2 states east of Louisiana, going east, you got Mississippi, then Alabama, 2 states over. Which state is 2 states west of Louisiana? Which state is 2 states west of Louisiana? And which state is 2 states north of Louisiana? Which state is 2 states north of Louisiana? Rouse's Market's phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. Here's another good geography question, Miss Peaches. Besides our 3 border states, Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, which state is next closest to Louisiana? Besides our border states, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Texas, which state is next closest to Louisiana? Give me the answer to that. I've got 50 big bucks for you. The answer might surprise you. I think it's about a 5-mile difference between the two. 766-9480. Rouse's Market's phone lines, 766-9480. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Young's Dry Cleaning's been with you since 1940. I dumped off a bunch of shirts over at Young's on Claiborne's just this morning. Walk-up locations, Claiborne, walk-up location over on Canal Boulevard, Harrison Avenue, right off Canal Boulevard in Lakeview. They've got free pickup and delivery. East Bank, West Bank, home or office. And Young's Express, amazing. Only Young's has this, these manless locker locations. Dozens and dozens of them all around the metro area, like at the bottom of Heritage Plaza, right at the foot of Vets. A bunch of CBD buildings, a bunch of condos in the warehouse district. At Michoud, that 42-acre facility, there are 3 Young's Express locations at Michoud. You dump off your dirty stuff in a safe, secure Young's locker. 2 short days later, pick it all up, perfectly dry clean, safe and secure. To find out more about the best dry cleaner in the business, youngsdrycleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com. And I don't say the best lightly. I don't like radio advertising cliches, coldest beer in town, all that. Young's is the best dry cleaner. Experience them for yourself. youngsdrycleaning.com. Rouse's Market's phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. 4 o'clock hour tomorrow, DA Jason Williams joins us on the show. If you're on a plane and a baby's crying, how should that be handled? 766-9480. The last time I was on a plane, this baby's crying, and the parents did not seem to care at all. Were oblivious, just letting the baby cry. And then the stewardesses just didn't seem too concerned either. And I'm looking at other passengers and they just sort of accepted it. I almost felt like I was the only person irritated. The plane was packed, couldn't move to another seat. I didn't tell the parents anything. Well, you could shut your kid up. I mean, I don't know what you'd say. Excuse me, is there any way for you to quiet the baby down? Could you put an effort to quiet your baby down? I don't know what I would tell some parents that, to me, seem to not be doing their job. Just sort of, hey, it's a baby. Babies cry. I mean, when I'm walking my dog and my dog starts barking incessantly and I'm trying to talk to someone and I can't quiet totally down, there's something that's just, making him bark. Sorry, guys, I don't know why he's barking. I'll see y'all later. I leave. I don't beat my dog. I don't, keep yelling at him. It's not going to stop barking. I go somewhere else. I mean, baby on a plane, I try to calm totally down. Sometimes he does stop barking, but 1 out of 10, he may not. So I leave. I mean, the parents not even trying to quiet the baby down on the plane just sort of blew me away. And then everybody else just sort of accepting it, which sort of encourages the parents like they're not doing anything wrong. Am I wrong on this? Or should at least there have been an effort to try to quiet down the baby? There's a great headline, toddler crying on flight, 2 strangers lock baby in bathroom. It's kind of a grab you headline. The parents weren't on the plane. It was the grandparents. They were elderly. They had the baby. They couldn't get the baby to stop crying. 2 young women said, we'll get the baby to stop crying. And their first thought, let's bring the baby into the bathroom. We can shut the door, and that way the rest of the plane doesn't have to hear the baby cry. So I thought that move was pretty good. And then apparently they got the baby to be quiet. Now me, I would not give my dog to strangers, much less a human being. But I do like the fact that at least, it was the grandparents or strangers, whatever. They brought the baby into the bathroom to try to quiet the baby down. And the bathroom is sort of, not insulated, but it probably dropped the noise of the baby crying by like 90+%. I was just sort of irritated. I was like, this is shocking. The parents don't care. It's shocking that the stewardesses aren't saying anything like, hey, maybe you should grab your child and try to quiet him down or something. Pat him on the back, hug him. Try. How do you normally quiet down your child? Why don't you try doing that instead of just ignoring your own child and letting him cry and make noise? 766-9480. I don't have any kids, so maybe I'm missing something. You folks that are parents that do have kids, enlighten me or tell me I'm right. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Looking for the highway on the western edge of New Orleans that connects the lake to the river. If you got the answer, I got $50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations, 766-9480. 766-9480. I've got some geography related questions too. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse can be yours. Hey, no maps, no Google, no intranet device. If Alabama is 2 states east of Louisiana, which state is 2 states north of Louisiana? Which state is 2 states west of Louisiana? 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Hey, besides our 3 border states, Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, which state is next closest to Louisiana? Which state is next closest to Louisiana? 766-9480. Hey, Miss Peaches, I'm going to give you the answer to this one. Now, Canada and Mexico are our neighbors. Which country do you think is next closest to the United States? It might shock you. Which country is next closest to the United States outside of Canada and Mexico? You know the answer? What? Wow, Miss Peaches cranking out the park. How do you know that answer, Miss Peaches? Yeah, not even. 2.5 miles. Alaska. These little Diomede Islands in between Russia and Alaska. They're 2.5 miles apart. The one on the, I guess, our western side would be owned by Russia. The one on the east of the eastern Diomede Island is Alaska. They were actually, that's how they would connect. There was talk of like a tunnel to the island or a bridge, and then
Bering Strait.
Yeah, exactly. The old, the old one. Yeah, that's how we think.
Ice froze over. Yeah,
that's where we think, Indians came from, probably, Asia and crossed over and then came south.
Yeah.
Now, there was a wolf dog that went from, I think it was Sweden to North America, because it was all frozen over, and did a little bit of swimming, but mostly walking, and went from like Europe through Iceland to Greenland to Canada.
I got one for you. So those islands you were talking about.
Yeah, the Diomede Islands.
The one there's one it's American island, and when it's
One's Russia, right.
They're 24 hours apart.
Oh, that's where the international line goes right through
They're
there.
a day apart.
So one of them's the next day. Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
24 hours apart.
Oh, just about.
Wow.
It's
International
like the whole
date
next
line.
day,
Yeah. The international date line runs right through those. Wow. Nice, Miss Peaches. Yeah, that I would be like Bermuda, I think Bermuda's 50 miles off of like Fort Lauderdale, something like that. That would be my guess. But it's Russia, 2.5 miles away. Russia is the closest country to the United States outside of Mexico and Canada. Crazy. Rouse's Markets phone lines 766-9480. 766-9480. Hot out there. Stay hydrated. Tomorrow, District Attorney Jason Williams will join us on the show. 8 people shot Sunday night in Mid-City. I think by Tulane and Carrollton, by Shamrock Bar, maybe in that parking lot. 8 people shot. 6 of them were women. 6 of them were women. How is that possible? How's that possible? It just blows me away, the criminal mentality with a gun, and even the meathead gun zealot mentality. My truck, my house is protected by Smith & Wesson, like that mentality. It reminds me of these extreme right-wingers and extreme left-wingers with these militias. Big old chunky out-of-shape dudes with beards wearing all this tactical gear, AR-15 rifles. You want to know who they're going to shoot? Themselves in the foot or their buddy. They're about as military or police trained as, Totally my dog. Just mind-blowing. Just these idiots that, almost want to get into a gunfight. I mentioned that theater, what was it, in Aurora, Colorado, where the shooter started shooting everyone in the theater. It's a tough choice. But I think everybody would say, yes, I'd want the gun. If I were to say, you're in a theater, some madman shooting everybody in there, would you rather have a gun or not? Like, everyone's flooding towards the exits. You're stuck in the middle. You're not going to be able to get out until the gunman either shoots you or is neutralized. Would you rather have a gun or not? And I think just about everyone, myself included, would say, I'd rather have a gun than not. And chances are, if you started firing that gun at the assailant, you would probably hit more innocent people than the assailant. Now, the gun zealot's like, you're crazy. I'd take the assailant out. Because the gun zealot is clueless. At the range, I'm a marksman, and not really, but I'm a pretty good shot at the range. I'm a decent shot at the range. In real life, I doubt I would be nearly as good of a shot, because it's real life. Bullets are flying for real. Someone's shooting at me. At the driving range, I hit the golf ball like a champ. You'd be like, God, look how Corey is. The guy must be a scratch golfer. And then I got on the golf course where it counts for real, and I do not perform like I do at the driving range. Because the driving range, nothing's at stake. On the golf course, the score's at stake. With guns at the shooting range, I'm just shooting targets, paper or metal targets. In a real life situation, someone has a gun and they're shooting at me, like I'm going to stay focused. But, the gun zealot thinks they will. The gun zealot thinks they will. But these criminals with, shooting sideways and just buying a gun, getting a gun and just thinking they know how to operate it. Last hour I was talking about a circular saw. I want to start making furniture. I'm going to find someone that knows how to use a circular saw and show me how to use it. Could I learn on the fly and probably not cut off a fingertip or something? Sure. But I'd rather learn from someone that uses a circular saw all the time to show me the ins and outs of it. I don't just go buy it, plug it in, and start cutting wood. I could learn eventually, but boy, I'm going to mess up a lot of things and maybe even injure myself. Doubtful, but maybe. People that just get a gun, load it, and start firing. Hey, man, you just put bullets in and pull the trigger. It's easy. No, it's not. It's easy to shoot a gun. To shoot it accurately is a whole other thing. To shoot it accurately while under fire is an entirely different thing. 8 shot early Sunday morning. 6 of the 8 shot were women. Mid-city parking lot, I think outside of Shamrock, right there on Tulane and Carrollton. Absolutely insane people with guns. Insane. The people that are irresponsible with guns. I'm a gun owner. I'm just not an idiot. Corey Johnson with you Tuesday afternoon. Leidenheimer Baking Company. My goodness, Leidenheimer French bread is so good, huh? Part of our life. I mean, everybody in New Orleans, can you name someone that doesn't eat Leidenheimer French bread? Chances are, if you're eating a high-quality po' boy, like a really good po' boy, it's on Leidenheimer French bread. It's the official po' boy bread in New Orleans. You're at a high-end restaurant, high-end, fine dining. First thing they bring out, wrapped in a cloth napkin or one of those little paper bags or a little kind of foily bag, that little mini loaf of Leidenheimer, piping hot, room temperature butter. That's just tough to beat. I could eat that as my whole meal. Leidenheimer French bread is part of the fabric of the city. Absolutely outstanding, tough to beat. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Tomorrow, District Attorney Jason Williams will join us on the program in the 4 o'clock hour. Right now, it's Monday. It's another Martell Monday. Brett Martell from the Associated Press joins us live again. What's happening, Brett?
Hey, Corey. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Yourself?
Good. Hope everyone had a good weekend, except for maybe Sunday night. Some people.
Yeah. What do you mean? When that USC guy ran in for the score, I was grateful HBO was rerunning Sopranos. I watched that. I went right to it. No post game, no nothing. I'm normally want to see right when he ran it in. I was like, oh my God, he's changed the channel. Sick.
Well, a lot of people didn't even get to watch it, I guess.
What's that?
A lot.
Uh-oh, Brad, I think we have a bad cellular connection. Could you wrap yourself in tinfoil, aim yourself in a northerly direction, and hop on one foot? Yeah, Miss Peaches, you better dial Brett back. That's a terrible cell connection. Oh, boy. What's that, Miss Peaches? Oh, I can't hear a thing. No, nothing. No, I don't. All I hear was popping and clicking sounds. Yeah, better call him back. Brett has that flip phone thing with the big numbers for geriatric folks. Oh, boy. No, that was sickening. LSU was the better team. LSU had that game won. And I thought kind of the worst part was post-game with Brian Kelly. The pounding the table didn't get me fired up as a, off the air as an LSU fan. The pounding on the table I thought was ridiculous. I think we got a better signal now. Brett, you there?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, yeah, I was glad Sopranos were on. I changed the channel immediately. Real quick, Brian Kelly pounding the table, kind of throwing Nussmeier under the bus, like Morris played better. Nussmeier had one of the best quarterbacking weekends in all of college football. LSU should have won that game. The defense is improved. The offense is fine. If you want to blame someone, don't be, I'm mad at my team for the first time. My quarterback got outplayed by Morris. Brian Kelly was the problem on Sunday night. Brian Kelly got outcoached and I think did the worst thing he could do, Brett. Blamed his team and his quarterback for the loss. I thought that was pretty pathetic.
Well, I think he's upset that, they didn't close the game well at all.
Nope.
And there were some execution problems there. He said today that those comments weren't directed specifically at Nussmeier. Now he may be backtracking, and it's really impossible to know, right? Unless he concedes that he is. But
yep.
I can see him being upset at some other players as well, including Major Burns, right? Including, who in the fourth quarter first had that, personal foul for taking his helmet off.
Yep.
On the field. But
yeah,
then
two
later,
personal fouls. Those were but how about the opposite? Yeah, Lacey's tearing it up in the first half, and you don't even get him the ball in the second half.
Right. No, there's an issue with that. And I think that Brian Kelly, he thinks he has a good offensive line. He wanted to control the game with the run game. He thought they didn't run it well enough in the first half. He wanted to make adjustments, and he wanted to. And I think he was maybe just a little bit stubborn about trying to control the game with the run game and get his offensive line to live up to its potential. And that worked until about 6 minutes were left in the fourth quarter. But, the thing is, I think that bothers him the most is, so then Major Burns, in addition to the penalty, he jumps off sides on a blitz. So then he tries to get back on side, and then they snap the ball. And instead of either resuming his blitz or going back into coverage, you got to keep playing, right? Because you want to try to make sure it's not more than a 5-yard penalty.
Yep.
He just stood there.
Yep.
So now it's 11 on 10, and it's a touchdown.
Yep.
So there were other things that one could see. Okay, and I realize as a journalist who's not playing football at that level, it's easy for me to say when I see something like that on TV, and I understand people maybe have brain cramps in the moment or whatever the case may be. But I'm sure, Major Burns, who's been a pretty reliable player for a while, regrets that after he jumped off sides and then tried to get back on side, he just stood there and did nothing.
Yep.
While USC threw for a touchdown.
No, you've got to keep going. The penalty's already there. I think Brian Kelly made a huge mistake at halftime. He gets interviewed and says, we'll control the clock and pound it kind of down their throat and run the ball on them in the second half. Essentially giving up the game plan. It's 2024, Brett. If you don't think USC's coaching staff's getting texts from, fellow members of the USC football team or even friends or family sending a text of what Brian Kelly said to the, during the interview, I just thought that was ridiculous. I mean, hey, we got to try to run it better. We got to try to control the clock. Something not this. We're going to pound it down their throat and wear them out in the second half. That's essentially what he said. I'm watching that at halftime going, why don't you just hold up the game plan for the second half? I mean,
I know it may have been a little bit arrogant, but the thing is, there's limited risk in saying something like that because the other team may think it's a smokescreen.
There you go. Fair enough.
There's so much gamesmanship and subterfuge that goes on with what a team is planning to do and then what it actually does. So, it's a bad look when he says he's going to try to do something and then he tries to do it and it doesn't really work.
Does Coach O mean 0 for 2 in those final 2 openers? Brian Kelly's 0 for 3, has not won an opener. That's 5 straight. You got to go back to the Curly Hallman era. That's pretty ugly, Brett.
Right. But the difference is that Coach O didn't win 10 games in either of the last 2 seasons, and Kelly did. So, the thing is, this year, if you win 2 games, and again, there's a lot of time to kind of rebound from a season opening loss to a USC team that may end up ranked in the top 10 at some point.
No, you're right. You're right. They've got a great quarterback.
Playoff year, it's far from over, but the opening, the last half of the fourth quarter and the post-game press conference just were not a great way to start the season for them. And sometimes teams almost need a little bit of adversity early in the season to, because I honestly think LSU was a little overconfident if you looked at some of the quotes from the players and so forth before the game.
Yep.
Especially from the left tackle, who's a great player, Will Campbell. Says he says I don't think a lot of people that are going to be at that game know what to expect from us. I don't think a lot of people realize what we have in this building. And he was also predicting that they were going to run the ball. Will Campbell was. He's like, I'm going to say it right now. We're going to run the ball.
And then he had a comment about I'm out of candy, but what was the tweet? He was eating like the little gummies or something. Not marijuana gummies, like he said, I might be out of candy, but I forgot what he said. But I was like,
yeah, you know what? I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
so
I love Will Campbell. He's a mauler, but
I love him too. And I actually think he's one of the most quotable guys in the team.
Yep.
I think those quotes are great, but the problem is that if you say something and you can't live up to it, I mean, then it's, it gets a little worse. Now, if you're Joe Namath and you guarantee you're going to win the Super Bowl and then you win the Super Bowl, you're a legend, right?
No, of course. Of course. But also, I think that all goes back on Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly pounding the table, disappointed in this team, kind of throwing Nussmeier under the bus, whatever he's saying today to kind of take it all back. It's a little late. The toothpaste's already out the tube. Brian Kelly got out coached on Sunday night, Brett.
You can definitely make that argument, and he didn't handle it obviously that great. I mean, I think what he's trying to do, and sometimes Brian Kelly's a little socially awkward, but he's trying to show that he feels the fans' pain, that maybe to show in a demonstrative way that he's more frustrated and upset than they are.
Yep.
Like he's like, basically showing the fans by pounding his chest. You think you're upset? Well, how do you think I feel? My whole livelihood's tied up in this. And we worked so hard on closing these close games, and we blew up. It all blew up in our face again.
Yep.
So I can kind of get it, but we're gonna have to see how that's gonna be an enduring image for the whole season. And if they respond and win 10 or 11 games and make the playoffs,
all is fine.
Will be remembered in a favorable light.
No,
Otherwise,
all is fine. You're right. Could be like a rematch in the playoffs against USC if he runs the table. Makes about $850, $900 a month year round. Got to do better than that. I thought kind of the diametric opposite. John Sumrall. Well, the best part of that Tulane game was the post game, Brett. Got a lot to clean up. Disappointed in a lot of the things we did. They beat Southeastern 52-0. John Sumrall is saying the perfect stuff. He's not blaming his team, just saying we've got to do a better job. And when you got nationally ranked K-State at Yeoman on ESPN Saturday morning, followed by a road game against nationally ranked Oklahoma the following week, I think John Sumrall's handling things perfectly. I felt the diametric opposite of Kelly.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important for coaches to keep their players' perspective on point, and Tulane was supposed to win this game comfortably. Now they really ran away with it in the second half. I mean, Southeastern, but I think that he can go back in the film. He can go back to the end of the second half, right before that 100-yard touchdown on the interception return, and he can say, "Look, they should have scored the opening drive and had the lead. They made a mistake. We capitalized." And then they should have cut the score in half at the end of this could have been 14-7 at halftime. People would have been freaking out. But, the quarterback throws the ball short. The defensive back makes a great read. He picks it off at the goal line and runs 100 yards for a touchdown. Suddenly it's 21-0. Southeastern goes in the tank in the second half, and Tulane runs away with it. So he definitely he was able to back up with film what he said after that game, which is, look, this will work against this kind of competition. But if you're playing up, it's not going to work.
Hey, Brett, a few years ago, I was kind of making fun of the local media with all these Saints predictions. This year, sort of the opposite. 2 years later, Jeff Duncan had like 20 media members, including you, picking the Saints record and seemed to be a little more realistic, a little more journalistic than fan-friendly like 2 years ago. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. I didn't do that poll the last couple of years. I kind of politely declined because I wanted to try to maintain some objectivity, but I just kind of had a change of heart this year and thought, it's what's the harm.
But you picked them 8 and 9, right?
I did, and the reason I did, now I think they could finish better than that, but I think I had an explainer in there that said that more has to go right than usually does for them to do that. They have the talent. They have, they have the talent and the ability to go better than that, but they have to have luck with injuries, bounces of the ball, penalties. They have to the offensive line has to coalesce maybe faster than an offensive line in their position usually does.
Yep.
And if they don't, then the quarterback will probably struggle because quarterbacks struggle behind, offensive lines that struggle. So, and that's why I think that the most logical pick is close to what the Vegas odds are.
I agree. I was about to say that, Brett. Follow the money. You follow the money. Vegas has them at like a 7.5 over under. And then you follow ABC, ESPN, or NBC, like how many prime time games, and there aren't all that many. So I think that's probably right around it, a little below 500-ish. Hopefully, like you said, they get some breaks and play a little better. Brett, always a pleasure. That's Brett Martell from the Associated Press. That's totally, Blue Boy barking. See you mañana, 4 o'clock.
Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.